Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Detail back for another video here today. This is actually something I've been wanting to do for a while now. I wanted to do it last year, but I wasn't making videos and I still wasn't sure if I wanted to come back or not. So I never actually did it. Basically, the idea behind this is you see all the experts on TV and stuff trying to predict games. You see some guys like on ESPN or something, they'll predict every game each week throughout the entire season, and they just trying to see what their final record is. They try to beat each other out, and the goal here is to try to beat out those, certified experts. Because I think I have a pretty good knowledge about the NFL. Obviously, I'm not a former player or anything, or I'm not some professional analyst or anything. I think I know. I think I know my stuff for the most part. So I want to challenge myself. I'm going to try to keep up with this for the entire season, going all the way up, even to the Super Bowl pick. And the goal is just to see what I end up with. Yeah, that's basically it. So these are my Week 1 NFL predictions. We're going to go through each single game. I'm going to give my score, who I think the winner is, so on and so forth. And I'll put my current record up on screen after each week. I'm actually 1-0 right now. You see, I got the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. I actually picked the Green Bay Packers on Thursday. I'll put the tweet up here. I'll be doing that for each Thursday night game. So if you want to keep up with that or anything, you can follow my Twitter. It'll be in the description below. But yeah, other than that, let's hop right into the picks. For the Thursday night game, I picked the Green Bay Packers, which they ended up winning. The score was, I had it set for 24-20. It's obviously kind of quite the opposite of what happened. We wish it was that score. The Packers won 10-3 nonetheless, so I got that pick correct. The score isn't really what matters. It's just to add a little bit more. Just kind of my thoughts and how I think, how much the team has an advantage, or just, whatever I think, It's just to add a little bit more context for the games. It's just whatever. It's not too important. Moving on to the next game. These are the 12 o'clock games or 1 o'clock games, whichever, time zone is from you. But it's Kansas City at Jacksonville. I actually have the Chiefs winning this game 27-17. I think this game is going to be competitive, but ultimately I think the Kansas City is just too strong, even against that Jacksonville defense. They can give them matchup problems here and there, but I think overall we will see Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes prevail, put enough points up to outbeat Nick Foles in his first year. I just think there's a lot going on in Jacksonville. They don't really know who they are yet. I mean, they signed Nick Foles. They've had Leonard Fournette. He hasn't really done too much. Do they have a clear wide receiver one? It's just kind of all over the place for them. So I like Kansas City in this game. I think it's a good game. It's a good game to watch. But yeah, let's move on to the next game. We have the Los Angeles Rams at Carolina Panthers. I have the Rams in this game, 31-24. Obviously, the Rams are just going to put up a lot of points. And don't get me wrong, Carolina is a great team. The Rams are they're just that good. Sean McVay, that Rams offense, they're going to be able to score on literally anybody they want. And then they have playmakers on defense. Aaron Donald's just a straight game wrecker. Don't get me wrong, Carolina's going to win a lot of games this season. They have probably one of the best overall teams on both sides of the ball in general. I just think this is a bad matchup in my opinion. I just think it's really what it comes down to. So yeah, 31-24 Rams, and let's move on to Atlanta at Minnesota Vikings. I actually have the Vikings on this one, 24-20. This will be a super competitive game. I think we've seen these teams play a couple times in recent years, and the games are always close. These teams just match up really well against each other. It's really, these are two pretty balanced, scary teams in NFC. I just think that Minnesota defense is going to put a lot of work in, and Atlanta has a lot to bounce back from. Their defense was practically all out last year, so they got to kind of recover. And then, new offensive coordinator for the Falcons. Devonta Freeman's coming back, and I just think they'll get progressively better as the season goes on. It's just a tough matchup. This is a close game. Hard for me to decide, but I have the Vikings winning in the end. So yeah, let's move on to Tennessee Titans at Cleveland Browns. There's a lot of hype around the Browns this season. Well deserved, I think so. Some people got them winning like 11, 12 games. I don't know about that, but I think they're a playoff team. They're just so talented. Yeah, I think their coaching staff will do a good job this year. So I expect them to kind of live up to the hype in a sense. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders quite yet, but they're definitely going to be a lot. They're going to cause a lot of problems in the AFC this year. That being said, I do have the Browns winning 28-21. I think the Titans will put up a bigger chance than I think some might expect. I just think they're gonna have a good game plan going to this, but the Browns will prevail in my opinion. They'll move us on to an NFC East division matchup. We got Washington Redskins at Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are at home. They have one of the most stacked rosters in the league, and I think that'll show. I have the Eagles winning 28-17. Washington, they got a lot going on. That team's kind of really big wild card right now. They got Dwayne Haskins sitting on the bench, Case Keenum starting. Their receiving core isn't ideal. How's Darius Guys gonna work out? Do they have to use AP more? Will that defense be relevant in any way? We'll have to figure out as the season goes on. But the Eagles are just too good of a team. They're going to do their thing. They're going to get in a win that they should. Yeah, that's about it. Not much else to say there. Moving up next, we have the Buffalo Bills at New York Jets. And these games are always close. Once again, another division matchup. I actually have the Bills winning 24-21. I know people got some higher expectations this year for the Jets, getting Le'Veon Bell, Sam Darnold in the second year, Robbie Anderson. They got some pieces on defense. I think this team will be pretty solid. If they're a playoff contender yet, that's just too hard for me. I see them being like an 8-8, maybe 9-7 type-ish team. That's where I predict them to be around. But think the Bills are also a lot better. Their defense was dominant last year, and even the year before. Tyrod Taylor took them to the playoffs at 9-7, and I think Josh Allen will take a huge step forward this year. And I think their running game will be all right. Don't like their offensive line. That's something that really kills it for me. And I think their wide receivers will do enough for them in this game. I just think the Bills will kind of outlast the Jets and win with just grittiness. I think they get kind of a shocking win to a lot of people. So yeah, that's all I have to say for that. Moving on, we got the Baltimore Ravens at Miami Dolphins. This is a must win, not a must win. It doesn't matter, but this is, in my opinion, should be an easy win for the Ravens. I have them winning 26-17. I think we see Fitzmagic pop up a little bit in this game, but that Ravens defense is just too strong. I think they're going to be able to run the ball on a Miami defense. I think that's kind of underrated in some senses, but I think they'll get the job done. They do what they're supposed to this game, and they just walk out with a dub on the road. Yeah, that's all I got to say for that. Next up, we got Indianapolis Colts at Los Angeles Chargers. Obviously, the news with Luck retiring puts a damper on this game a little bit, but I think Jacoby Brissett will be serviceable this year. I think he's better than some people might expect, but that Chargers team is just beyond stacked. We know this. Even with no Melvin Gordon, I think they will do enough, and I think they'll win the game 28-20. Like I said, I think the Colts are still a dangerous team. That roster is really good, and their coaching staff is phenomenal. And I think that'll show throughout the year. But like I said, the Chargers are just way too good. They'll get the job done. That's really all I have to say. Next up, we got Cincinnati Bengals at Seattle Seahawks. Playing in Seattle is not easy, especially for a team that is already having problems with injuries with AJ Green, their offensive line, and then just question marks on defense, to be honest. So I think this is going to be a tough game for them. Seattle, they're going to get the job done. They're going to do the thing. Win 26-14. Rough for Bengals fans, but it should be an easy win for Seattle. They're just always a good team. I think that'll show again this week. So yeah, that's about it. Now, the game I'm most excited for, because for those of you that don't know, I am a Cowboys fan. We have New York Giants at Dallas Cowboys. Uh, the Giants, while they could shock the world and win today, I just don't see it happening. Just quarterback struggles, the suspension of Golden Tate, just a little bit injuries with like Sterling Shepard. Just too many question marks, and that defense isn't great anymore either, like it used to be. And Dallas is also one of the most loaded rosters in the league as well. They got like a top 10 roster. Coaching staff is questionable. I'll give you that. I think the Cowboys will get the job done this week, and they will just get a win that they get a win that they should, especially because they have Zeke. They have that offensive line. I think Dak will do his thing this year. I have high hopes for him. Not just me being a Cowboys fan. I just feel like I've seen a lot of growth that some people might not look at. Dallas will win 27-17. That's about it. Moving on, we got San Francisco 49ers at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This will be a pretty close game in my opinion. Ultimately, I do have the Niners winning 27-24, but don't get it twisted. Tampa Bay, they can go toe-to-toe with plenty of teams. This is an offense that can put up a lot of points. Their running game will be better this year. That's a huge question mark. If they can do that, I think they could win a decent amount of games. They're always passing the ball. Their defense isn't great. I think the Niners coaching staff is just too good, and they have talent on both sides of the ball. They aren't loaded by any means. I think they're kind of limited. They should win a decent amount of games this year, more than they have in the past, 2-3 years. And I think they get a win, on the road. So they're gonna do their thing. Moving on, we got Detroit Lions at Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray making his first start. A lot of hype around that man. And same with Cliff Kingsbury. Rightfully so. They're gonna be fun to watch for years to come, 100%. But I think ultimately it will be hard for the two rookies, the coach and the quarterback, which are two of the most important positions on a team. And I think Matthew Stafford and Kerryon and Kenny Golladay, I think those guys will do their thing. They're gonna get a win, 26-20. I do think the Cardinals will show that they can be a threat this year. I don't think they'll necessarily win a lot of games, but they will put up a lot of points and be close in games, especially a lot closer than they have been in recent years. But yeah, I think Detroit wins on the road. A lot of road teams, I think, winning this week. I think they get a win that they should, and they start the season 1-0. Moving on, Sunday night game, super hyped. Pittsburgh Steelers at New England Patriots. Playing in Foxborough is just rough already, and Pittsburgh doesn't have a good history of winning against the Patriots, especially with no Antonio Brown, who just recently joined the Patriots, who isn't playing today, sadly, but that team is still beyond scary every year. They're going to make a deep playoff run like always. I think they're going to win 27-20 at home. Pittsburgh will make it interesting. It's just not enough. New England starts the season off slow usually, and they'll just progressively get better. And I think they'll get a week 1 win that they realistically should get anyways. Yeah, that's really all I have to say for that. Now, moving on to the last two games of the week, the Monday night games. First things first, we got Houston Texans at New Orleans Saints. Once again, playing in New Orleans, another place that's very difficult to play in that dome. The Texans, they're a young team, very scary. They'll make noise this season once again. Just a lot of talent, just loaded with talent, even though they've recently traded one of their most talented players in Jadeveon Clowney. But once again, the Saints, top to bottom, another beyond stacked roster. They're going to be in the playoffs again. They're going to make noise, and they're going to win this game 31-23. That team is it's just so good. They can do everything. And I think they'll showcase why they're one of the best teams in the league once again by beating the Texans in this relatively close game. It'll be like one score throughout, but the Saints will prevail, and they'll start 1-0. And last game of the week, we got Denver Broncos at Oakland Raiders. This is such a interesting game. Another divisional matchup, but it's the Raiders are kind of a mess. They don't really have an identity. I guess neither do the Broncos, except playing strong defense, which I think will win them this game. I have the Broncos winning 24-17. It's just a matter of bad matchup. I think the Raiders aren't particularly strong in any area yet, nor do they really know what kind of team they want to be. Getting over the Antonio Brown saga, it's just a lot on the team already. And I think both these teams really need to find out who they are. I think the Broncos won't have a problem running the football. They'll get a little bit of things going on with Joe Flacco in the passing game, just a little bit, enough to put up decent points to beat the Raiders. I think the Broncos defense will just be too much for the Raiders. I think they're gonna fall to 0-1, and the Broncos start the season 1-0. That's basically it. But yeah, guys, those were my week 1 NFL game picks. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing this throughout the entire season for each week, even going all the way to the Super Bowl. That's the goal. Like I said, all my Thursday night matchups will be on Twitter since I put this video on the day of, up on the day of on Sundays. Let me know if y'all want to see any other football related videos. I'd be happy to break down teams if you want me to, just talk about them and give you guys a little insight on what I think, or even if y'all for some reason want fantasy stuff, I will be happy to do that. I can break down my teams, break down other people's teams, or anything like that. So I'd be glad to do that. I love football. I love this. I'm so happy the NFL season is back, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But like I said, these were my NFL Week 1 predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a great NFL season. I'm happy it's back. I really am. Yeah, that's all I have to say, you guys. I'm Detail, and I'm signing out. Peace.